is very relative. And it's relative from many points of view and in many dimensions. Not to mention, of course, the most obvious one, that the position of the observer basically changes what happens. So in fact, we are now shifting our ontology from a kind of a simplified tacit assumption that we all had between Newton and Einstein, and basically even after Einstein, in most of the popular sort of summings up of our knowledge. That is that the world, the reality is like a huge magazine, a huge place. It's called universe, and it's filled with some furniture. Well, so there are amoeba, there are our desires, and there are also pieces of meteorites and so on. And all this is like a huge collection of things rotating in time and space. Now, we are now not really so inclined to see reality, or realities even if some people exist, but we are more inclined to see reality as a kind of a maelstrom, a huge stream of events. And the basic building blocks of reality are not things or ideas, they are events. Both our ideas about events and the events themselves are those building blocks out of which huge constellations are being made. And we somehow think that biologists who tackle the development, they trace some of those streams, are in a slightly better position to understand what's happening than the physicists who assumed that there was a big bang and then gases started evolving into dinosaurs and members of this particular webinar. But so I think that in a sense, our basic ontology and the linked methodology or epistemology of our research, to remain on the philosophical, let's say, level, will be shifting towards what the biologists are doing, and basically the evolutionary biologists. There's also an evolutionary psychology, of course, sociology, history, and so on and so on. So that's one thing I wanted to say, and that will be the lasting heritage of the COVID pandemic, that it will be tackled by people who will try to see how it fits into the reconstruction of the streams of events in which the Spanish flu and the COVID-19 and many much more serious, I think, threats, which will soon overshadow the COVID-19, how they have to be predicted, prevented, or at least quickly responded to. Now, the second, and of course, we can. I am writing a book now, which I called The Third Enlightenment, or Global Meritocracies, and there I, for instance, start the reflection on this passage from physics to biology as our beloved ideal research method. I relied, for instance, on the last title of Karl Popper's epistemological book about objective knowledge, which was about evolutionary epistemology. Now, to come to the second part of what I wanted to tell you today, I think that as the result, but not only, of this relativization of our knowledge, and relativization will have quite a number of phases. Now, to make a quick impression on you, I only quote the British Prime Minister Harold Macmillan, who, before he became a Prime Minister, went to Strasbourg in order to participate in what later became European Union, and he was participating then in 1950, so exactly in the middle of the 20th century, the year I was born in a panel of experts, and there he said his famous words: "We have not abolished the divine right of kings to rule over us, only to cede this power to some experts." Now, he was absolutely right, and history has proven him right, because we are now, of course, doubting any expertise. And my predecessor, Bob Sinclair, actually said that we see some curves, but we don't really quite know what the curves are, because the only reliable piece of knowledge that we have is the number of victims per million. And there are two things even here which make us doubt it. One, we don't know how well things are calculated and who is being taken care of when he or she is calculated as the victim of this pandemic. And second, the recent the recent discoveries of the Italian pathologists who decided against the advice of World Health Organization to do the sections of the corpses of those who were supposed to have died of COVID. Now they have found out that quite a big percentage, more than 50%, has been the victim of the thickening of blood and clotting of the blood vessels, which can be triggered by the virus, but it's not necessarily immediate result of the appearance of the virus. The virus has triggered quite different things. So anyway, I won't enter into it, but the relativization of our knowledge is, I think, amply illustrated. So this relativization of knowledge has some very unpleasant consequence for our ability to act. One of our predecessors said something about observing, analyzing, and then acting and negotiating some common sort of action. And here we have problems because in order to agree on some kind of a joint action, either the World Health Organization or whatever, we have to share some values. If we don't agree, at least on some way in which we negotiate and share the values, it's very hard to start the action. Now, and here we have so many doubts and things are so relative that that we'll have to really face a great trouble in getting more into the wetware, getting more information and data into the wetware, and having more possibility of turning ourselves a little bit into robots. For instance, in the latest Olympic Games, we had a case in which 3 fastest female runners have been disqualified after 2 years because it has been discovered that they have run as female athletes, although they were actually males who said one day that they feel more like women, so they should actually be taken for women. Now, they, of course, also took something in order to change their gender, but they basically were still, as far as the strength of the organism goes, males. Now, the question is, should we follow some kind of the personal liberty tract and say, okay, they decided they are women, so they are starting in Olympic Games and competing as females? Or should we say, sorry, they were biologically born as males, so they shouldn't be contaminating the purity of the distinction between the male and female sportswomen and sportsmen. Now, I only show it to you because here we see how the building up of the wetware and robotization of our organisms will already lead to some not very typical problems. I don't think this is the problem which will decide the future of the world, but it shows to you how tricky and how wicked can some problems go. Now, but and here's what I probably would like to close my speech with, but that relativity, which both includes our knowledge and the relativity which includes our, let's say, negotiating table of values with the uncertain outcome of the negotiations, that sometimes also has something in between the ethical and the epistemological level. For instance, right now in a number of countries all over the world, we have some clubs of very strange Luddite-like people who are burning or destroying in another way the masts which broadcast the signals for the G5 generation of communications. Now, those people believe that those G5 waves, so to speak, or whatever kind of energy it is, are destroying our minds, and they are working together with a secret plan. were really into the deep conspiracy theories, by Bill Gates, who has developed a certain vaccine which will inject some chips into our organism so that we'll become the slaves who can be, I don't know, killed by G5 technologies and so on. Now, that's a fantasy and so far as we can say, a kind of the blooming of the conspiracy theories, but it shows to you how technology can, and the relativity of some of our views and of some of our values that we'll accept by taking some solutions, will influence the cultural climate in which we'll make decisions in future. So one of the decisions will be, shall we develop G5 technology? Shall we replace parts of our organism as it becomes older and irreplaceable with the artificial things? Elon Musk is, of course, a much more pure visionary. He simply says we should give up our brains and locate our minds in the clouds of artificial intelligence and live happily ever after. That's, of course, a very good solution, especially if life ever after will be in a nice climate with a Tesla in front of your door and so on. But, and of course, cappuccino within 200 steps, because a life, of course, without a cappuccino close by is absolutely impossible on this planet. But what I'm trying to say is, if we cannot quickly, publicly discuss and dismantle, diffuse and destroy such fake news, like for instance, the plans of Bill Gates to kill off half of the mankind in order to free the planet for, I don't know, left-handed dogs and cats, then we are in trouble. So what should we do it? Who should do it? Who should combat such fake truth, which should be probably destroyed, as very much like the piracy near off the coast of Somalia is being destroyed by international armed forces. So who should do it? Drones? If so, in whose service should those drones be run? And with this disturbing question, who should be directing the drones, destroying the pirates of fake news and Luddite actions? With this question, I would like, as the legacy of the COVID-19 panic, with this question, I would like to leave you at this discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you for a wonderful talk. And just the previous talk, we discussed about how fake data manipulation is severely affecting our strategy and planning about dealing with this pandemic. And now fake news, you have also raised the issue of how to tackle with this fake news and who will tackle this fake news. People are like growing fast with the technology. They are evolving fast. They are like thinking of building their houses on the Mars, but they forgot that the house where they are living currently, they have like made it a hell. They have not left it a livable place anymore. And we really appreciate how beautifully you have established a relationship between robotics and AI and the old Indian Khajuraho temple, where pleasure has been felt and realization is made, are you real or not? And how quite possible that at that time they were evolved enough to imitate the things the way AI is doing right now with the robotics, where like there is no difference in the feeling whether we are dealing with the robots or we are dealing with the humans. Thanks for a very wonderful talk, and we are really looking up to your upcoming book on Third Enlightenment, and we would really love to read that book also in future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining the session. Next in the session, we have our speaker, Mr. Vikas Vats. Are you there, sir? Please unmute yourself. Mr. Vikas Vats, please unmute yourself. Oh, yes. We cannot see you right now.
Hello.
Yeah, you are audible, but you're not
Yeah.
visible. I think you need to turn on your camera as well.
It's working. I think something. Okay. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
I'm unable to see you right now. We can hear you, but we are in.
Let me do it again,
Okay,
please.
okay. Okay, so meanwhile, I'm introducing our next speaker, Mr. Vikas Avadh, who is also president of HR Association of India and also a renowned name in the soft skill expert. His company is involved in corporate training and HR consulting of a very unique type, that is managing of employees. Pretty interesting. That you can manage the thinking of your workforce, you can train them to think in a particular direction. So we thought it would be very interesting and to include him and his talk into this session where we are dealing with the post-pandemic economic situation and how this HR management and managing your employees can deal with it and can do wonders. We hope so.
Yeah, thank you, Geetika. So I'm not sure why camera is not working.
Okay.
Is it working? So I would just see if my slide is working. That should be perfectly fine.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And so I was listening to all the riveting speakers, and especially from Bob, I like that there is no curve. So that's the key, that there is no curve, and we cannot predict anything. And that is something on which I would also like to build, and a lot of discerning points. So I like to share my screen and.
Technical team, kindly let him share his screen. Yeah.
You can see my screen, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it should work perfectly. Okay, though I would miss you not missing me.
Just one simple submission, since we are running. So please stick to your timing of 10 to 15 minutes. Is it okay?
Pardon?
Is it okay to stick to time allotted to 10 to 15 minutes?
Yeah, 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes.
Fine. Okay.
Right.
Please continue.
Okay, so I would speak technology and Bharat, how these three are coming together in the present situation. To start with, about HR Association India, we are probably the one of the largest body in HR in India with over 23,000 members pan India, and our magnum opus being HR Distinction Awards, where we facilitate and set benchmarks for HR people in different HR processes. And of course, all these events, I especially put the pictures here for all the webinars I'm doing, because this is something we would be missing now for quite some time. Now we are in the future. We used to talk about future. We used to talk about VUCA world, and now we are into it. The future has arrived. That is 2020. So let's start with the technology part, and then we come to economy and what to do. So what happens on internet every 60 seconds? This is the power of technology. You can see what happens on the internet every 60 seconds, every minute. Almost 400,000 apps are downloaded. Almost 90,000 people tweet. Almost 3.8 million search queries. 4.5 million videos are viewed. That is what is happening on internet. That is technology. That is the world we are living into. We have talked about AI. The global AI market in 2016, 1.4 billion, and we estimate by 2025, it should be 60 billion. The division of labor between human, machine, AI, it was supposed that it would be by 2025, 48% human and 52% machines. But now after COVID, of course, it will skew more towards machines and algorithm. The industrial revolution multiplied our physical capacity. So we are just discussing. I want to take you from the beginning, how it started, the technology part, how it started, where we are and what is the future. So the industrial revolution multiplied our physical capacity. Digital revolution multiplied our mental capacity and social capacity. Now, if we see the data, because there is no curve, that is important. So if we see the curve, what is the curve like? The curve is in 1995, we had 80 million phone users. 2017, we had 4.7 billion phone users. 2021, 6.1 billion phone users. So we had some sort of curve there. Price for 1 GB data, 1960, $10 million. 2010, 9 cents. Comes 2015, India, it's free. Number of years it took for each product to gain 50 million users. Airlines, 68 years. Computers, 14 years. PayPal, 5 years. YouTube, 4 years. Facebook, 3 years. Insta, 17 months. Pokemon Go, 19 days. So that's the speed of technology. So if we use the same curve, say on viruses or infected people, so COVID-19, then 20, 21, 23, 25, 50, then you can imagine the curve. So if we have to see the curve, there are two graphs that can give us some indication. So if we go to 5,000 years of change in human progress, what we see is almost 4,500 years back, the fire comes, then wheel comes almost 2,000 years back, steam engine, electricity, computer and telecom, and starts the convergence of cyber, physical, and biospace. And after that, there is no curve. Now you cannot predict anything. So if we have to predict, we have to use exponential change. That has become unpredictable, because if you use the trajectory based on past growth, the red trajectory, it should be followed. But if we use the date, any date in the future, we do not know where we would land. Nobody knew anything about COVID few months back. So that is the kind of world we are living in. Now, COVID's insights. So now what COVID has done to us, what kind of insight COVID has given to us? Let's see something about this. One, economy is a weapon. Now we understand that economy is a weapon. We have already seen this. We have seen this China versus Australia. We have seen this USA versus WHO, and I reckon it should soon be WTO. I'll tell you why it should be US versus WTO. That should benefit India. Let's see how. Economy is a weapon. We have seen as soon as companies started to talk about coming out of China and come to India, now there is a stiff in on India-China border. We have already seen countries like Italy not very happy with the response they got from Eurozone. So when it comes to economy, everybody is at their own. All countries are at their own, and there is no support from anywhere. Second thing we have learned is technological integration is not always for the best. Because technology, they integrate things. We are able to centralize the things, centralize the productions, and that brings a lot of moving parts into the system. And when there are a lot of moving parts, we are talking about a lot of friction, because there is a lot of human intervention, that is anti-automation. So technological integration, we have learned, is not always for the best. I believe now we need micro levels of self-sustainable economies. As we have discussed, there is no curve. We do not know anything about the future. We do not know for how long COVID is there. AIDS is here since the time it started. Maybe COVID will be here for long, and more new viruses would come. Now we need self-sustainable small economies. So we have seen that when the COVID cases increase in India, in Gurgaon and Faridabad, which are districts of Haryana, Haryana blocked the border with Delhi. Though Delhi is a capital city, but still Haryana government, they block the borders. Now state becomes more important. Very soon, districts will become important. And I don't know about the places from where you are, but in Haryana, many villages, they block themselves. They block their villages from the outsiders, even for the people from the same village who are coming back. So when we come to life, when we come to living, surviving, everything else becomes minuscule. And also there will be economical hit for that. But of course, we all know about TINA effect. There is no alternative. TINA, there is no alternative. So now we will require micro level, self-sustainable, small economic zones which can survive at their own. If required, they can block themselves and survive. Now, people have got time. They got a lot of time to think. And a lot of people I have talked to, I have observed that the thinking of people that has shifted from goal to purpose. Instead of talking about life goals, now people have started thinking about the purpose of life. Instead of want, they want to think about need, whether I want this or I need this. Now they have realized there are a few things which are more important as required to sustain life than what they want. Instead of exuberance, safety is more important. So that is going to hit a lot of economical activities like tourism, like theaters, cinemas, malls, and hopefully we would come out of, due to all these realizations, we would come out of the rat race and stop existing. So when I say stop existing, that means we would stop existing and start living. We would understand that economical growth is useless unless we can enjoy that life. That is more important. And as in India, I would like to quote the Neti Neti principle, the Neti Naiti, not this, not that. So what I need to do, what actually I am, what actually I need to do, that is what people have started thinking. So we talked about in the previous session, economical growth with the technology and non-technology investments, 1:20, 1:3. But where am I going to spend if I am not able to come out of my home? Everything I have to order online. How will I earn? And even if I'm earning, how will I spend? So it doesn't make any sense whether it's 1:20 or 1:3 or 1:100 if I don't have opportunities to spend. Now people are thinking, instead of let's have this, instead of this, that people think, do I really need this? For example, Tata's have announced that by 2025 they would like 75% of the workforce to work from home. So they have realized they don't need infrastructure. So if there is no tourism, there are no malls, no shoppings, no infrastructure, no offices. So what would be the impact on economy? That we have to see. Similarly for schools and universities. So all of us, our kids are studying now from home, remote learning. So why should we have so much investment on schools and infrastructure? Now that is the question. And also the universities. And also for schools and universities, now when all the knowledge is available on the internet, all the knowledge is available online, why should there be compulsory learning also? Because maybe schools and universities, they can just have assessments. The student, they can learn from anywhere, any source they have, take the assessment, you pass the exam, you get the degree. So no need for infrastructure or buildings. Yeah, Professor Dixit talked about availability of internet in villages, the speed and other things. So that was very apt point at the opposite time, opportune time. And we all know that necessity is the mother of invention. So as soon as we will go more into post-COVID era, more startups will come and more inventions will start happening. For example, if I had to take India's example, so for remote learning in villages, there are two challenges. One is electricity and second is internet. So for electricity can be produced in n number of ways to charge your taps. It can be done by solar, it can be done by wind, by water, by plodders, those Koluka bell we use. It can be done by running. Kids run for 1 hour and they charge their taps. So all kind of technological inventions can be done. And also for internet, maybe in India, we have mobile ATMs. So those ATM vans which go to villages and people can withdraw their money. Similarly, we can have something like mobile internet vans which go to villages once in a week, where students can submit assignment, download next week's assignment, and So necessity is the mother of invention. Now, once we are in this time, I'm sure we are going to invent much better ways to not only cope with the time, not only to survive the time, but also to thrive in the time. Survival of the fittest by law of natural selection. So actually, I believe the COVID situation we have been tackling from the tail, from exactly the opposite way. The problem is not virus. The problem is not COVID. Viruses were on the earth before we humans came. So viruses are not a problem. The problem is we are not able to tackle them. Our immune system is not equipped enough to survive in this particular virus situation. And COVID is not the one. Now more will come, better versions of COVID will come, and they will keep coming. So we cannot every time lock down ourselves, our nation, our economy. We cannot all the time start working on developing the vaccines. What actually we need to do is we need to focus on our own immunity. The immunity increases for all the species. The immunity increases through law of natural selection. But in case of human beings, we have voided the law of natural selection. So what happens in case of any species? That the new species offsprings come, the weaker ones who are mentally or physically weak, they are eliminated, and the stronger ones survive. They give birth to more stronger offsprings, and that's how species become stronger. But in case of human beings, we have used a lot of unnatural means. Now, of course, there will be ethical issues, but we have used a lot of unnatural means of giving injections and vaccines to the kids from the birth, and in the race, the human beings which were not very strong, they also got the chance to survive. And as a race, we are becoming weaker and weaker. So now there will be time, maybe COVID, this situation, maybe in this situation, I will not get a lot of takers for this, but when the next situation comes, there will be countries, there will be governments, there will be people who will start thinking on these lines that why not to start working on immunity instead of vaccines? So there are so many tests. And we are working on COVID tests. Why can't we have tests for immunity? Now using AI, AC Milan team, they use 60,000 data points for their players to predict their performance using AI. So now when we already have over 50 million patients, why can't we use AI to find out what actually constitutes immunity? What are those vitamins, immunity, exercise, oxidants, antioxidants, sunlight, whatever it is. So like our CIBIL score, the CIBIL score which is used to take, which is used by banks and financial institutions, we can have immunity score. So new virus comes, COVID comes, okay, so it is announced that the people who have immunity above 70, 75, they can only go out, others cannot go out. So instead of working on all the viruses, all the vaccines, we need to start working on our own immunity, and we have to come up stronger as a species. Because every time a new virus will come, we cannot go into hibernation mode like this time. In post-COVID era, this is obvious that robotics, automation will thrive, and wellness industry is something that would thrive. Government of India already working on nutraceuticals, and that is some industry where people have started giving focus to that how to remain immune. So nutraceutical is one of the industry that is going to thrive in post-COVID world, where people will start thinking about wellness. So yesterday I was reading this news that Scotland is working on some model. So this is the model on which Scotland is working. Outdoor learning as a model for reopening the school. So taking clue from what Professor Dixit said, that now this is, we have to adopt to Indianness. That's what we used to do. And we used to call them ashrams. So how we learn. So this shlok, it describes how we learn. We learn one fourth from the teacher, one student, one fourth from our own intelligence, and one fourth with the time, with our experience. So now when we come to this model, which was our model, we will start learning more and better. And if I have to relate this model of learning with AI. So the first part is data download, then it is analytics, then it is machine learning, and then it is artificial learning. So artificial learning is when my learning is helping me learn more and more, and that happens with experience. Now, what to do in this situation? So for that, I would like to quote 7,000 years old Mahavakyas. There are 4 tools I would like to share for the present situation. And I see a lot of students are here in this webinar. So I would like to tell them there are 4 tools which you can adapt in this situation and to keep yourself future-proof. First is Aham Brahmasmi. This is from Yajurveda. If you have to summarize Yajurveda in one sentence, it would be Aham Brahmasmi. That means I am the ultimate creator. I can achieve whatever I can imagine. This is something what Einstein also said, human can achieve whatever it can imagine. So we need to innovate. We need to innovate and come up with new solutions. And as we have already seen, the shelf life of technology, product and services is mitigating very fast. So innovation will be the key. As students, now after COVID, there will be a lot of opportunities for startups because a good startup is that solves a problem. All the startups which solved the problem, they tried, whether it was Facebook, it was Google, it was Uber, it was oil rooms, any startup that solves a problem that thrives. And now we have a lot of problems. So if we can solve the problems, we can innovate. We can take the role of Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi. The Brahma is the ultimate creator. If we can take that role, then we survive. Second, Tattvamasi. This is from Samveda. So after I have understood I can create, I need to collaborate. I alone cannot do a lot of things. I need to collaborate with others. So now we are living in a time with multidisciplinary approaches. I need to collaborate with experts from different disciplines, like we are doing this webinar. And Mr. Raji had done wonderful work in this webinar, inviting so many people from different streams. So second is when I understand my mission is to empower others by awakening them as creators. So we need to collaborate to come up with new ideas and solutions. This is most important, and many previous speakers also talked about it. Pragyanam Brahma. This is from Rig Veda. So that is learn, unlearn, relearn. You need to understand, and this especially for the students, you need to understand that with right knowledge and wisdom, you can continuously learn, unlearn, and relearn, and you can thrive. You need to understand that when you are in the world of work, whether you are in the world of work or you would be in the world of work, you are a product, you are a brand, and you are selling yourself in the market. And to sell yourself at a higher price, you need to be a better product. For that, you need to invest in yourself. You need to continuously invest in yourself and become a lifelong learner, because there is no curve now. So you need to learn. You need to learn every moment, and for that you need to understand the knowledge is that creates. You need to upgrade yourself continuously. And the last, I am Atma Brahma. This is from Atharvaveda. Instead of life goals in terms of money and physical assets, now we have understood we also need to start thinking in terms of the bigger goal, the purpose of life. Because once I'm in the house, you are in the house, you cannot go out. Then you start thinking why I am here. What have I achieved? Whatever amount of money I have gained, whatever money you have, but you are in the house. And if you cannot go out, then what is the purpose? So that is the last leg where we need to now start thinking about the purpose of life, how I can add value to others' life. And we have seen so many examples, people come who are coming together and helping others in this COVID situation. So there are 4 basic principles which will govern us now in the coming time. And they are 4 principles from 4 different Vedas, and these were given by Lord Shiva. And he summarized all 4 Vedas in these 4 principles.
Okay.
So that is all I wanted to share with you. And if there is anything else, you can send me message. You can contact if there is anything you like to.
Sure. We'll collect all the questions through chat box, and we'll try to compile them and mail individual questions to the speakers related to.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so
Thank you,
much,
sir. Thank you
Mr.
so much.
Vikas. Thank you for a wonderful talk. And the model that you discussed, I guess Sweden is already working on that model of, rather than putting everybody in lockdown, expose those who have a good immunity, protect them who have not a good immunity, and then keep on running rather than putting everything into lockdown. Even we here also, we are from lockdown 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We are now moving towards unlock 1. So slowly we are unlocking everything which has been locked. But never to say that we have like damaged the natural process, the environment, the things which are unnatural has been done, and we are getting the repercussion of that. And the virus itself is not a natural virus as being reported in the early stage of investigation. So we are suffering and the world is suffering. So let's be positive. Let's hope this situation will be better, and we are utilizing this time of planning for the better future. Thank you so much for a wonderful talk. Next in the speakers list, we have Dr. Manpreet Manna. Dr. Manpreet, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome, Dr. Manpreet. Dr. Manpreet is a big name. He has been the former director of the AICTE. He is also a president awardee. Completed his PhD from Said University, Longville. He's a senior member of IEEE and also a fellow of Engineers Association of India. With a very good academic and excellent research record, he is here today with us to put up his views on the topic of technologies, how they are going to redefine the global economy in the post-COVID scenario. I welcome you, sir. The stage is all yours for next 10 minutes. Is it okay?
Sure. I'll try to be covered up in 10 minutes time, and I just need my screen share rights from your
really
side.
Okay, I really appreciate your words, sir. Technical team, please allow Dr. Manpreet to share his screen.
Just please share, sir. Yes. Okay. I'm trying, because every minute is very important for me because I have to be in time. So yes, I hope you are able to watch my screen.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. First of all, I must congratulate the whole organizing team of the Avadh University. I'll tell you from the core of my heart, from 21st of March till now, I think I personally attended around 30 webinars, in which around 25 webinars I delivered my talk and rest I listened. And this is the first ever experience today I had. You have so wonderful speakers throughout the world from the different perspective. Their, the work area is different, and they put the words related to the COVID is amazing. It's amazing. Attending itself is a big thing, and coming and sharing the views is going to be another proud privilege for me to be there and part of this, because very eminent speakers, and they have given their ideas, they have given their knowledge in that way. Whoever is listening today, and the recording will go tomorrow for the many more viewers of my country, especially my students, my learners, I think it's a great takeaway from this. Now I'll come quickly to my way. I have starting from directly from here. Yes. Now, since I'm not a doctor, I'm not from WHO, I'm not from Ayush Mantralaya, so I am not able to give any kind of precautions, preventions, or drugs, or any kind of things how to keep ourselves safe. But only I can tell to my country's teachers and students, be patient, be cool, nothing happened to you. Rather, you got so many opportunities to be come forward, and the whole nation is now looking to you. For teacher, we are looking how they are going to give the best shape to our learners, and learners, we are looking how you are going to make our India self-independent country. Atam Nirmar Bharat banana hai. Already we are with the Make in India concept, Digital India concept, now something new, because the whole world, not only my country people, the whole world is looking towards to India. We can say proudly that India is the country, the 130 countries are taking all kind of drugs and medicines. As on today from our country, we feel proud and we feel so humble for this. We are doing actual our principles, the mandate given by our Bharat Mata, that we should always help the mankind and always serve to the world, so that we are doing it. So the students are not going to be go to the class, and it's not possible. It was saying by Government of India 2016, when we brought a historical change in our education system by allowing our students to go for the choice-based credit system. Yes, it was the first time 2016 the Gazette notification came from UGC and AICT, and I think the day is not far when you are looking to my screen, when the book will is going to be discovered in some university compound or campus, they will feel it's some unidentified object because the day is not far. Now I'll just come to the direct my point, which I would like to touch, the 4 W's and 1 H. I repeat, 4 W's, but 1 H. What our new education policy? Till now, I think thousands or millions or even billions of my Indians are also searching on a Google COVID-19. And the unfortunate part in my country, what happened, I'll tell you, from 21st March till today's 31st May, you count the days, I think our actual doctors, they are very much doing their job in their hospitals, but some non-identified, non-MBBS doctors took a birth during this period. They're putting so many videos, what to eat, what not to eat, how to sleep, why to not sleep, how to go out. So please, please, please let all the authenticated AIMS, PGI, and all the authenticated people to give this kind of advices, suggestions. We should not. We should do our business. So what new education policy says, better we should read this. Being educator, being a teacher, being a student, I think we should know what is NEP 19. Where the learners looking change in the system. It is not the first time in my country, or it's not the first time in the world that change is not coming. Of course, this change has come very rapidly because of the COVID. So that's why. Otherwise, the change was keep coming. It is not the first time that we are talking about the online system and e-contents and all this MOOCs platform, etc. We were talking from last 10 years through NPTEL, through EGPG Pathshala, but teachers were not understanding it. That's why we could not create the content. Now, within 20 days, my 60% of the faculty could understand how to open a Zoom, how to conduct a webinars. Not even this one institution in my whole country, 900 plus universities, I think 200 plus universities already conducted a webinars. And around my all school teachers and my college teachers, they are conducting their virtual classrooms. How they could learn now? The reason is that we were living in a different era. Now we understood this is our cup of tea and we're supposed to be. Anyhow, कई बार क्या होता है कि जो अभी में से पहले स्पीकर बहुत अच्छी बात की गए हैं कि जो आवश्यकता होती है ना, वो जब आपको मजबूरी आती है तो वो उसकी जननी है, तो आवश्यकता ही जननी होती है हमारी इनोवेशन की. वैसा ही कुछ हुआ. Why global market not accepting graduates as it is? As नहीं लेंगे वो. They are not going to accept your graduates as you are going to pass out. We talk about the OBE, we talk the Bloom taxonomy. How this OBE, the outcome-based education system, without giving skills, we are giving a degree to someone. I think we are doing a big crime. Yes, we are making someone's mindset that he's a graduated, but he is a fake graduated because he doesn't have any skills. So there are total 16 skills. You know, our God, Krishna, he was having a 16 skills. If we can inculcate at least one skill in each graduate before he is passing out, I think all markets are looking for the graduates. Who says job is not there? I will show you, I'll prove you. Just give me 12 minutes, 2 minutes more I will take out of 10. When teacher will transform to the ICT, that is the information communication technology, we are talking so many seminars, we are doing so many international conferences, people are coming, drinking tea, having a lunch, cutting a ribbon, taking a certificates, putting a photographs on the Facebook, ICT, have they adopted? But today, without going to the conferences, sitting at home, they are using ICTs. This is the best way. And this is the real, this is the matter, how we can go to this solution. I'm just going to go for the H. The real place of ICT in post-COVID-19 teaching and learning through open education resources, a blended learning mode, the flipped learning model, and of course the MOOCs we have. If today again, if any educator says I couldn't understand it, I think he should go for the re-engineering or relearning, as already our Shastras, Granthas, 7,000 years old, already spoken. The learning, then unlearning, then relearning. This is the true thing for my today's a teacher. Teacher first has to learn. He learned. He says, I'm a learner teacher. I published 10 books. I have wrote so many SCI journal papers. I've done so many PhDs under me. So can you speak before the camera for 15 minutes, sir? Do you have that body language and that communication skills and all this fluency which we supposed to have from the camera? Sorry, gentlemen. You send me the guys here in my class. I will see their faces. Then only I can teach. Then sorry. If you are a teacher, when you have to become like a Dronacharya, the virtual classroom was started when, the one of our soldier, He just putting a one मूर्ति, उसके सामने उसने तीर चलाना कैसे सीख लिया था. वर्चुअल क्लासरूम आज नहीं बन के आया, हमारे शास्त्रों ने वर्चुअल क्लासरूम बहुत पहले बना दिया था. हमारे 6th गुरु थे सिखिज्म में, उन्होंने कह दिया था एक दरबार में, हाजिर गैर हाजिर, गैर हाजिर हाजिर. जो यहाँ पर मौजूद है वो मुझे सुन नहीं रहे हैं, जो यहाँ पर मौजूद नहीं है वो मेरे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं. द टेलीमेडिसिन. One a mother can talk to the son and daughter even 1,000 miles away with the telepathy. A teacher cannot speak from home to their learners. That is a way we have to take a very much. Who says COVID? China says COVID-19, India says COVID-20 antivirus. Please take it. All my education industry, you have a biggest opportunity. It's a blessings in a disguise. Connectivity. Don't we require the Wi-Fi zones? Don't we require the fiber optics because many villages are still away? Go, because now government of India is asking for all school has to be get the Wi-Fi zones, all universities have to Wi-Fi zone. Online content generation. Now bring the teachers, give them royalty. When SWAYAM can give a 13.5 lakh rupees for a 4-credit course, can't you send your 3 minutes video to the SWAYAM platform to be get yourself enrolled by government of India? And yesterday what UGC said, professor has to go to the senior professor until unless he will give one particular course on a SWAYAM, he cannot be a senior professor. भूल जाइए आपको HAG मिलेगा, आपको पहले कंप्यूटर पे पढ़ाना पड़ेगा. Yes, virtual classroom platforms. You are talking about the Google Meet, you are talking about the Zoom, you are talking. अब कैसे आ गया रातों रात सीखना? How you use the Google Classroom? If you could have to make it your passion, I think it was a better. You made it मजबूरी. मजबूरी पे क्या हो रहा है अभी भी मैं यहाँ पे I want to add something. Some of my school principals, it is my handfold advice to them. Don't ask that at home the son or daughter should put a uniform and sit 6 hours continuously before the mic, mobile or this thing laptop because we are doing online teaching. No, this is not online teaching. It is anywhere, anytime. Let their wards to be in a comfortable zone. One family having one mobile, one data pack. 2 guys are studying in a school. Can they manage their virtual classroom? Or they will do their business during the lockdown. I think we are creating again confusion about the online. People start hating online. Online is a beautiful way to teach. As you know, my previous speakers already spoken. Interface. When my honorable Prime Minister can tell this is an app can be help a bodyguard for the whole country people like Ayodhya Setu. Can't you have the evaluation apps like Kahoot game? It's just playing a game. You can do the quiz. People will start enjoying, your students will start enjoying. Oh, ma'am, दोबारा क्यूज कब लेंगे Kahoot पे? Because fastest finger first खेलना है, KBC खेलना है. We are just checking a knowledge this. Why we want to always tell the student why I'm deducting 5 marks? Can't we teach them how you can take a 5 marks? This is the OBE, outcome based education. यही हमको सिखाती है. Bloom taxonomy. We are always putting a whole efforts on remembering, and going and vomiting in exam. And when we grown up, your colleague says, forget it, man, go ahead. Why? From my childhood, you are saying remember. Now when I remembered, so remembering is all data. So you are saying, भूल जाओ ना उसने क्या कहा, आगे बढ़ो. अरे आप भूलने के लिए कह रहे हो? We are confusing. There are 6 cognitive levels. Why we are sticking on to the remembering? What about the understanding? What about the analyzing? What about the creation? So we have to be digital data storage. So I'll just give an assignment to my universities of my country, whether it's a private 346 universities or it's a government universities. Don't only think for now buildings, you have to have the content generation. Every faculty has to create a content. Not only go for the classrooms. Yes, of course, I need a classroom still, but we need the internet bandwidth as well as. Don't only think that you have a library, you are a good university, until unless you have a cloud or server with you, you have to have this procurement. Don't say I have a very good laboratory. Yes, you must have a laboratory being an institution, but you must have some digital video studio also, because where the animation has to be take place. Why? Just think of it. Without AI, you can't think now ICT. Voice assistance. In my country is a multi-language country. I'm teaching from Punjab. My Tamil Nadu student cannot understand me because he can call the Siri, he can call to Kaizila. Kaizila, can you translate in Tamil? Can you translate in Marathi what Professor Manna is speaking in English or what a Harvard professor is speaking in English? I want to understand. Many of the students today must watching this webinar from morning. Even I have this limitation. I cannot come in Hindi because many of my friends, my co-speakers, they are from the other countries. They would like to know what exactly Dr. Manna is speaking. Otherwise, I could have to come in Hindi because my all emotions will come from my mother tongue. So this mother tongue is going to be helped through this AI. Yes, the translation is the, in national education policy, there is a special space for the translation interpretation. There is going to be an international school by Government of India. It's going to be open through NEP 19. Advanced facial recognition. What kind of school classrooms you are going to watch after the post-COVID? Whole year students are going to cover their mask. How you will take the attendance? How you will recognize them? You can't go too near to them because we have to maintain some physical distances. I think the wrong word has come in this whole world is a social distances. No, it is not a social distance. It is a physical distance. Why you're creating a social distance? All we are brothers, sisters. We are friends. No social distance. Keep maintain your social relations. Maintain only physical distance. Even with your wife, even with your son, even with your daughter also. Because you may be a carrier or you may be asthmatic patient. I think sometimes the wrong word sometimes get popular by media and people start using the same word without sensing their English, which grammar you have studied in their 10th class or 9th class. Anyhow, I'm not going for that because my time is going to be missed and she will say in between, sir, stop. Emotional and movement monitoring. Tell me the truth. All my teachers, my friends sitting over here, including me, in the hundreds class, can you evaluate a person who's a slow learner and who's a fast learner? My dear, sometimes we take the roll numbers by numbers as they are the prisoners. They are not my friends. They are not my students. We never say, Mahesh, where you were there yesterday? We say roll number 13. Yes, sir. As he is a caddy, he is a prisoner. So this AI will help you for even your 100 students sitting in a class, which is a fast learner, which is a slow learner, because they are watching their emotions. Delhi schools already have their cameras, but they don't have AI. Putting a just camera to show to the parents whether my son or daughter is sleeping in the school doesn't make any sense. They are not free to watch their son and daughter, and it should not be. It's a privacy. We should watch their behaviors, because tomorrow some will out of them only will become a rapist. Some of them only will become a leader of country. So we have to identify it. We have to convert the upcoming rapist of my country towards to the good man of my country by watching their just behavior sense. And it starts from the school level. It starts from the age of 13 and 14. He must be having some depression, some kind of problem, and many more depression cases coming post-COVID. Just be alarming situation. Don't worry about the economy. We Indians can always be boost economy. What we were there when our GDP started from 27 to 2, when the left people, those are ruling us, and we are again back. This economy is not a problem. The problem is the mindset. The biggest problem is the mindset, and we are going to be lose our mind sometimes. So please be careful. That is alarming situation. Automated data. Many my teachers, when they are giving grades, oh, you are my neighbor, oh, you are from my religion, oh, you are from my caste, I'll give you 2 marks extra. Sorry, you will give marks here, tomorrow he will not get a job, he will give you the big boss. He will give you the big abuse that you are from my religion, you are from my caste, you have never pulled my ear that time to tell me you are doing something wrong. I got a good CGPA, but today I am nothing in my market. I think this kind of the cognitive levels can be let the analytics from the machine learning, the deep learning, the AI, and this is the big market, educational market. Yes, I'm sorry to say, as on today, education is a business, whether it's India or not India. I simply say, please make it serious business. Please make it. You take fee, you take the huge amount, but please give something back to my learners, because they are coming empty stomach at morning and they go empty stomach back from the campus, because we are giving a stale. We are always giving the old content. Let them go for the study webs, for active learning for young aspiring minds. That is a SWAM. And it was the first name for the MOOCs in this world. That's why UNO invited me in Geneva to tell me, Drive, what is the SWAM word you have created in India? Why? I'm just giving an opening eye to my whole private universities, my government universities in my country. You see the targets of the other countries' universities, they are taking the international students. Unfortunately, we have only 40,000 plus students for the international, means other countries. Now there is a biggest opportunity, first time in my country, because all my Indian students, 17% higher education students, those went to Canada, to Japan, to US, they came back, or they are deferring this academic year. Can't you give them the credits equivalence what they already earned in the last semester in their university in Canada? Just talk to the UGC, just talk to the MHRD, make some proposal and ask them to be, dear student, you are my Indian student, be here. We'll give you rest 3 years of degree here, and we will give you the certification of BTech or BCom, because they are not going back. This COVID is not going away within a day. Next 1 year, my students are going to suffer a lot because of the transition. Even some students may from UP may not like to go to Punjab or Himachal. Because of this COVID, I think now state-wise also we are going to retain our students. It is an opportunity for my universities, opportunity for institutions. Please create that kind of a quality conscious model. Students never go away. They go away from the parents because of the quality of the education, because the whole life is based on their learning. A mere degree, if they want to have to, they could have to stay back. So why, being highest number of universities in our country, still students go abroad? It means we have something missing in our system, maybe pedagogy, maybe content, maybe delivery pattern. We should do Chintan, we should do Manthan, we should do the brainstorming, and we should bring back our learners and many more learners from the other countries. Because you see the today graph, although we are the huge country other than China, what level of COVID we could have? And you see the other countries, I don't want to give name, because our immune system, our Ayurveda, our immune system, our Tulsi, our Neem is an amazing thing with us, and it is remain with us. We have to make use of this, and we have to be very strong. We used to talk the carbon credits. Now we used to talk immune credits. When you give some admission, beta, fill in the form, what is your immunity credit? What, ma'am? Yes, because I don't want the future patient in my university. I don't want the future patient employee in my corporate. They will be asking one more column. Please submit your immunity credits. How many avla you have used, how many milk you are taking, what kind of yoga you are doing, what kind of exercise you are going to do. This is going to be the future application form. Please mind it. Today I'm saying you must be laughing, but it is going to be happen tomorrow, because without immunity, viruses are not going to stop. Which virus came and went? Just let me know. Error and virus cannot be zero. It can be minimized. Still in my country, we have the polio cases, although we have the great vaccination, free of cost by all government hospitals and dispensaries. But still we have the swine flu, still we have a dengue. Any virus comes, it can never go. Yes, it can be suppressed, it can be minimized with the vaccination, which is not going to come for next year. And when it is going to become, it will be a great question to my Indians, how it going to be affordable to my Indian, every person. Still my many Indians are suffering to reach to home by train or bus, and you are thinking the vaccination will going to distribute within a day only. No miracles is going to be happen. Your drones are giving a pizza at home, that they will not give you the vaccination at home. We have the Ola Uber to go to kitty party, but we don't have the Ola Uber ambulance. We don't have the Ola Uber bus to my villagers should go back, because the fault of the passport holders, the sufferers are the ration card holders. This is what happening in my country, and we should understand it. With this, I just conclude. I think I have taken my time as permitted to me. Just sharing a few things before going quickly. Just going, ma'am, just give me 2 minutes. That's it.
Sure,
I just want to show my students, be with me, be with this country, be with the government of India, be with the state government. There are great openings for you. I just want some skills. Don't think that you are not a computer science engineer, you can't do anything. You are a mechanical engineer, you are a chemical engineer, forget engineering. If you are a BA, you see all what I'm trying to show my slides within a 3 months online courses, 6 months online courses, maybe free of cost nowadays, many cross-era like sort of platforms giving a free of cost. Please learn these skills and come forward. Everybody's looking for the blockchain developers. Everybody's looking at artificial intelligence expert. Everybody's looking for the robotics process. Growth manager, yes. The site reliability engineer. Last 2 months, 7 earthquakes in our city, Delhi, NCR. Yesterday also you faced one. Who's going to erect the tower? Who's going to make a building? Who's going to make the flyovers? My Indian students, but they have to be the site reliability engineering techniques, the customer success. Now the customer is not going to be a window shopping, going and changing the clothes there and picking one. No, they will not allow you to use the clothes in the try room. You have to touch the screen. You show the dress, how you will look like after feeling. You have to see on the 3D and 5D image of the camera. Tech engineer, robotics engineers, all these are the great openings already there in my country. We want the skills. We want skill from you. We are not asking your CGPA. We are not asking even a degree you have done from the ABCD institution or CDE institution. No tier 1, no tier 2. Even IIMs are in the same line now because it's a COVID. Where is a job? Let me know. So the day is gone. Only IITs will. IITs, let them go to US if they. I want make in India. I want my backbencher. I don't want a topper at my country. Toppers already went away. They never given us something because they want to do for other countries. Okay, let's no problem. Because India always says go and give the services to the other nations. I salute to my toppers, but let my backbenchers to confront and this kind of the digital marketing specialist, the lead generation specialist. Hands are same, dear students, only the technology changing. Your mindset has to be changed. We are not going to vanish out the jobs. Who said ki jobs are going away? Jobs are coming to your doors. These are the technologies. Have you ever heard about this kind of technologies? And who will do this? एटीएम आने से कैशियर आने बंद हो गए? किस बैंक के कैशियर की पोस्ट खत्म होगी एटीएम चलने से? मुझे बताएं. रादर एटीएम में पैसे भरने वाले, एटीएम के गार्ड, एटीएम को बनाने वाले, एटीएम को मेंटेन करने वालों की जॉब्स पैदा हो गई हैं. I think you understand well. I think all my learners sitting listening to me. Traffic monitoring. I'm talking not only the road traffic. I'm talking the space traffic. आज पहली बार 2 यात्री गए हैं कहां पर? किसी अंतरिक्ष में. उसको छोड़ने गया एक रॉकेट. तो अभी तो आपको मंगल पे जाके प्लॉट लेके घर बनाने हैं. How you will do this? And the third world war, people says it's a data war and it's again data war. We are talking about WHO, what data, what corona. Somebody says my credit card credentials gone. Somebody says my all data has been taken away. There is somewhere in the dark web. It is a data, data, and data. So you want a data analytics, we want a data mining people, we want the data computational people. All these kind of jobs are available. You have to just bring healthcare workers. I think you understand well. Till 3 months back, nobody's even making a single mask in my country. Now 3 lakhs masks per day is going to be manufactured. Many more ventilator machines has to be come up, and it is nothing new. And space technology already have told. So just catch the wave, tuned with the technology, just rush, become either a digital entrepreneur or agro entrepreneur or educational entrepreneur or social entrepreneur or environmental entrepreneur or a health entrepreneur. Just last slide to give you one click. See the left-hand side, you have read their biography. Have you ever tried to read the biography of this 25 years old youngsters, my youngest entrepreneurs in the world, the millionaires, each and every person from Ritesh to Akshay? I'm not giving their biography. Today you search, Google out, and all they are either one is a digital entrepreneur, one is a OYO room, one may be a very great person, just 26 years old, just 27 years old, very youngest, my Indians. So Dhirubhai Ambani bhi hai, to Ritesh Agarwal bhi hai. So it is you people to decide whether you want to be with us or not, because you want to be in a red zone, let it be a red zone. You want to become in a green zone, but Modi ji says green zone ko sab kuch milega. Sab kuch mila na, to pehle aa jao green zone mein. You have to travel from the red zone to green zone. Red zone mein reh ke kuch nahi hone wala. Kuch nahi. You come to the green zone, that is a growth zone. You people have to decide. I know that you must be thinking, I must have given some more time because it's the constraint of the time, because it was a 15 minutes, I have taken a 15 minutes. That's it. Join to me somewhere on a Facebook, on a YouTube, so many other things I'm teaching my students, like digital entrepreneurship and MOOCs generation, they can take away. So I think there is no time for taking question. It's a one-way traffic. I agree. So I just wind up over here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Manna. And like constantly, I want to congratulate you. Constantly, we are getting in the chat box lots of compliments and thank you messages stating that such a wonderful, motivating talk has been organized. And the speaker, they are like writing so many appreciating words for the speaker. They are highly motivated after your talk, sir. I hope the students loved your lecture today.
Thank you.
And we are very happy that such a learned person, former director of the ICT, you are appreciating our webinar, that we have organized a webinar on such a diversified speakers, with such a diversified, it's an honest effort, sir. Despite like not going into that this webinar organization is going to give us any credit or not, the team of placements are here. I, along with Mr. Rajiv and entire team, has worked for this workshop entirely and solely just because to address the issue, to bring the best of the speaker in front of a remote area like Ayodhya, to the students of remote area like Ayodhya, where they can hear the speakers, they can know what technologies they are talking about, they can hear what they are thinking about this post-pandemic situation. Really, really a very, very big thank you. And yes, one thing is always coming after every talk is that our education system needs a lot of reforms, sir. And one question I have from my side. So Swayam, you said that you have to enroll and for becoming something and senior professorship or whatever, you have to have one course in the Swayam. Last year in July itself, it's been a year now, when I tried to put my course on the Swayam, I got a proposal and I tried to create my course and upload on the Swayam. Then I saw there was a line mentioned that only those institutions who have NAC A grading, their teachers can only put up the course on the Swayam platform. If at all it is possible, sir, to like,
yes,
is there any
change? I totally agree with you. When this Swayam journey started, because I'm a founder, director, presently I'm not with the system. I don't like this. I don't understand. You know, the one ice break we made it when I was a director and my present chairman of AICT, we could make it. You know, earlier we were not allowing even a private universities people to be as expert. I asked simple question. Till date today now, my 40 years experience, I'm an IIT professor. Tomorrow I will join a vice chancellor of private university. Means my all 40 years experience went away. I can't make you to be an NBA expert or a NAC expert. Now you see already at present, for your Niti Ayog, for Atal Incubation Centers, a 20 crores grant or any kind of proposals to AICT, RPS, MODROPS, private institutions are equally important. You just read the one paragraph of NEP 19. There is no gap between private and government institutions. Now, again, some, you know, the good people, they will come in the system and NAC A or B. What is this NAC B? If your institution is young institution and you're not still eligible for NAC, so your teacher is not teacher. A NAC teacher is something different. He's a
and one more thing, if NAC accreditation or A grade is not given, it's not that individual teacher who is good has been putting a lot of effort, and that you are not doing justice to that teacher by not allowing it to.
When I started my journey for the SWAM, I'm non-IITian. Sorry, I'm sorry to say I never touch IIT gate for any kind of the learning. But I learned from them. I learned from many seniors. I learned from many my colleagues, and I could do it. I could develop something. It is not that it's individuality.
So the time has come where government
in one village. Yes, a good.
So the time has come. The time has come when government organization and the funding research organization like DST, they have to come out of this IIT phobia, and they have to start funding to ever thriving and striving institutions which deserve a lot more fund for establishing their research. You have given enough to those bigger institutions. Now that's time to give to state universities, to smaller universities.
Is required before technology. Digital mindset is required.
It was a great experience interacting with you, sir. And hopefully we will interact in future as well.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Next in the speakers list, we have Professor Pedro Argueses. Professor Pedro, are you there? All the way from Philippines. Professor Pedro, please unmute yourself. Professor Pedro, are you there? Yeah, he is there. Please unmute yourself.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Welcome, you, sir.
Thank you, Dr.
Just a brief
Lohia, Avadh
introduction.
University.
Just a brief introduction of Professor Argueses. He is all the way joined the session from Philippines. He is Dean College of Computer Studies, University of Perpetual Help Molino campus. And he is in the Council of Deans of Information Technology Education Philippines. He is also a member of Philippine Society of Information Technology Educator. A big resume is there with me to tell about you, sir. But since we are crunching the time, we want you to start the session as quickly as possible. We are waiting to hear you, sir. Over to you, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes. Good evening. This evening, I am going to discuss with you the future changes in economics and information communication technology in the Philippines or even in the world. My presentation will talk about Philippine economy, the DICT or the Department of Information and Communication Technology, how to safeguard the data privacy, the cyber maturity, balancing the security and growth, the information technology, and the business process management industry, and different telemedicine technologies that are available here in the Philippines, and of course the financial technology. Well, first, just to give you some background of the Philippine economy, from sick man of Asia to fastest growing in Asia, there's the timeline when this tag ceased, but it seems nobody has used it since the Philippines finally and permanently retired its debt from with the International Monetary Fund or the IMF way back 2007. Enduring 4 decades of what many beningly considered as the period of tutelage, that means the protection of authority over something, and that's about the foreign debt. With the fund, in 2010, the country became the net creditor, and 2 years later contributed about $1 billion to the International Monetary Fund support package for economies and experiencing financial crisis. It was actually the major turnaround for any country like the Philippines. The gross domestic product growth average in the Philippines in 2010 to 2016, we got 6.1%. And the Philippines next to India is averaging 6.9%. And India in that particular year, 2016, is 7.5%. And way back 2017, we have 6.7%, 6.2% in 2018, and in 2019, 5.8%. Right now, year 2020, and because of this pandemic, the COVID-19 virus, we are into 6.1%. And why? Why am I discussing this to you? It is just in accordance to the 2 of the 10-point socio-economic agenda of our President Duterte. We call that Duterte-nomics. Why? Because number 7 out of 10 is to invest in human capital development. And the information technology is one of the growing and fastest technology or career here in the Philippines. Promote science, technology, and the creative arts. That's number 8. Now, one of the very significant things that the president has done to our country is that the personal income tax. The personal income tax was actually given to those employees who are receiving 20,000 pesos and below. They are free in paying of tax. So that's very important to us in terms of producing or making some more productive economy. Now, in DICT, or the Department of Information Communication Technology, we have different agencies that attach to this department. Number 1 is the National Telecommunication Commission, the National Privacy Commission, and the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordination Center. Why am I discussing this to you? Because the priority areas of the DICT department is, of course, the electronic society, because it is focused on information communication technology services of the society. We are into citizen-centered approach in this government of Duterte. Number 2 is electronic government. The government ensures the use of information communication technology infrastructures in the government into citizen-centered, as I mentioned. Number 3 is electronic business. It mandates the growth of the ICT-enabled industries through public-private partnerships. And number 4 is the cybersecurity. We call this as a law here in the Philippines as Republic Act number 10175 of 2012 that ensures that the World Wide Web is safe for Filipinos, businesses, and government. Just to give you some example or data, way back 2019, according to cable.company.uk, Philippines is number 6 in terms of internet speed. Number 1 there in Southeast Asia is, of course, Singapore. Singapore has 71 Mbps as average connectivity, while in the Philippines we have 5.5. It's very poor. Therefore, the National Broadband Program positioned right now as telephone communication or telco competitor. Philippines is internet speed of 100 gigabits per second on average from 2020 to 2022. So meaning we are developing, we are improving the infrastructure of internet connectivity, especially in the Philippines. The educational sector will be coming up with what we call blended learning, hybrid learning, wherein students would work with face-to-face, online, and drive-through, wherein students can get all these learning materials to the school while they are studying at home. And at the same time, we are going to maximize also the government facilities or infrastructures like the TV network, wherein the study or the learning of the students will be posted on television. And next in line is the safeguarding of cybersecurity. We call that Data Privacy Act of 2012. It's very important to every citizen like me in the Philippines, because the DICT would like to emphasize that privacy is making some role nowadays due to different cyber crimes on the web. And therefore, the National Cybersecurity Plan for 2022 primary goals is to make critical information infrastructure trusted and secured. Of course, number 2, making government information environment secured, making businesses secured, and making individuals aware and secured. So that is the plan, or that's the agenda of the National Cybersecurity 2022. Now, let me discuss about the information technology business process management and employment. It is estimated that the sector directly employed about 1.15 million people in year 2016, or around 5.6% of our gross domestic product, private sector workers in the country, and took into 22.9 billion US dollars in revenues. Right now, we are number 1, or around 7.5% of gross domestic product, and expected to reach 1.8 million employees, or around 4.1% of the country's total employment, with equivalent revenues of, take note, $39 billion US dollars by 2022. And that's why Philippines is actually booming in terms of business process outsourcing or management. Now, we have so many top IT BPM companies in the Philippines. We have Convergys, JP Morgan, Teletech, Teleperformance, Sykes, Shell, etc., etc. So average the revenues is about, of course, 868. The Accenture in 2015 and 2020, it boosted up for about 200%. Now, another technology that we have in place that boost up the economy at the same time, the technology of the Philippines is the telemedicine, because it improves access to healthcare through technology. Number one is one of the fields under electronic health is telehealth or telemedicine. Use of ICT in delivering healthcare services to patients and providers separated by distance, which means to say that you can do some consultation electronically online with your doctors. At the same time, we have number two, the electronic health record system and electronic medical records. This type of technology help information system that can be created, managed, and accessed by one healthcare organization or an hospital, wherein the database or the records of their patients, the doctors, everything are in place. Next is the mHealth or the mobile health. We use the mobile devices for medical and public health practices, which includes telephone helplines, text message, reminders, mobile access to patient information. And another thing is the electronic learning or the use of ICT for education. It is used to train health workers, and professionals and educate communities with poor healthcare infrastructure. And of course, the financial technology. Just to give you, to wrap up with the data that we have in terms of percentage of adults with a mobile account in Southeast Asia. Philippines is number 5. We are only 4.1 average, while Cambodia is having 12.8%. So why am I discussing this to you? Because nowadays we need this technology to work out with what we call blended learning in education at the same time. And one of the two giant companies that are working here right now is the Globe and Smart, because financial technology market is into, of course, we all know that into payments, accounting for almost half of the pie. It's 48.3%. And the different financial technology players are, of course, the GCash, the Paymaya, Ayana, Banco Beam, and so forth and so on. And therefore, we have also the technology that work into education, because nowadays we know that electronic learning would be the primary tool that the educational sector will be using. Why? Because according to Forbes, the worldwide electronic learning market is projected to be a massive of $325 billion by 2025. And therefore, IT jobs are there worldwide. It just means that these numbers are, that technology to education is here to stay. Education administrators must learn how to use current technological developments and implement them wisely to enhance learning experiences. Because in my field, I'm a college dean of 2 programs, which is the computer science and information technology. And we are now on the transition of the K-12 education. Therefore, our college department has no 4th year right now. In the school year, we have no 4th year students because we are on the transitioning period from the K-12 to the college. Well, in way back 2015 or 2017, number 4 here in the world, especially in Asia or Southeast Asia, is the information technology. We are number 4 in terms of career. And hello? And the Commission Higher Education identified higher education courses that are high in demand. Well, so many challenges. Number 1, it could be in the government, lack of clear-cut guidelines of the education sector on the implementation process of different ICT courses. But now it is not clear with us, with the government. Insufficient facilities, that's a common problem. In government and private schools as a result of budgetary constraints, especially in public school. Instilling teachers and instructors the importance of the role in implementing information communication technology-based learning in order to improve students' capability and skills. and lack of instructors with the knowledge and skills in ICT. But right now, the government is doing ways to educate the thousands of educators in the Philippines, so that we are ready to implement the new normal in education, in using the blended learning technology, the online, the distance learning, etc., etc. Therefore, one of the national strategy for student mobility here in the Philippines is to, number one, implementation of vital education reform laws. It allows innovative offerings of programs through transnational education, twinning, facilitating, and student mobility. Student mobility, the efforts to increase the number of higher education institutions in the ASEAN University or network, and also exchange program for students, faculty. It is under the law of Republic Act number of 10650, commonly known as Open Distance Learning Act. And number four, fostering research collaborations. And that's why the Philippines HEIs are in the height of fostering collaboration with different academic universities in the world. And number five is, of course, facilitating, supporting, of course, the international on-the-job training of our students. But right now, we have the pandemic problem. Maybe we are suspending that particular students' mobility in terms of on-the-job training abroad and internationalizing the curricula. Well, I think those are the things that before I end my presentation or discussion, let me just say thank you to Dr. Rajiv Kumar, who invited me, and of course to the entire community, Dr. Rammanohar Avadh University. Thank you for this invitation. It's my pleasure and honor to be working with you and to share my humble knowledge about something on technology and education or economy. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Arguesis. And we really appreciate that Filipino government is focusing a lot on financial technology, that is fintech, and reforming education, reforming education laws are, and fostering the collaborative research with the international organization. Actually, every time a speaker is coming and putting forward this point, and we are coming commonly to one conclusive point, that education is something that needs to be reformed for tackling any such situation which we are facing right now. And thank you so much for joining us from far away and putting up your point.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor. Next, we are left with only two speakers for today's session. The first speaker is Dr. Divya Thakur. Dr. Divya, are you there? Dr. Divya, kindly unmute yourself. Dr. Divya. Is Dr. Divya there? Okay, Dr. Divya is there. Ma'am, please unmute yourself. We are not able to hear you. We have seen you for a clip, but yes, ma'am, please unmute yourself. You are now visible. Yes, yes. It was just for 1 second, and then again you have put yourself on mute. It was unmuted right now, and then just one click more. Yeah. Can you hear us? Yeah. You're audible now, ma'am. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Namaskar. Thanks a lot, Rajiv sir, for inviting me on this webinar session. I'm really thankful to you. And such a nice session from morning onwards to till now. Such a fruitful session was going on. Thanks a lot, ma'am. And
just a brief introduction of our next speaker, although there is
just a brief.
I'm coming to him. Okay. So Dr. Divya Thakur is today with us. She is director of Sanskriti University. She is also the chairperson of the Foundation. Ma'am, over to you. The session is all yours for next 10 minutes. And please
okay,
put forward.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks a lot, Rajiv sir, for inviting me on this webinar. I'm really, really thankful to you, and thanks to you, ma'am, too, for this fruitful session from morning onwards to till now. I'm very, very thankful to you. So, I really want to discuss about academics. जो मेरा point है, जो being a director of an organization, my concern is all about education. So we already working on restructuring or redefining of technology. जो traditional teaching से है, हम e-learning पर आ चुके हैं. जैसे webinar is the biggest example of that. किसने सोचा था 2020 के starting में कि जो normal conferences होती थी वो एक वेबिनार का पार्ट ले लेंगे, और आई थिंक हम लोगों ने काफी फ्रूटफुल तरीके से इसको पूरे लॉकडाउन को यूज करा है. तो जो ये जो ई लर्निंग का प्लेटफॉर्म है जो हमने यूज करना शुरू करा, जैसे हम लोग अगर बात करें, जैसे मैं अपना एग्जांपल देने से स्टार्ट करती हूँ कि जब हम लोग पढ़ रहे थे तो हम लोगों ने पढ़ना स्टार्ट करा एक ब्लैक बोर्ड टीचिंग जो होती थी, जो क्लास में होती थी 1 to many वाली ब्लैक बोर्ड टीचिंग. जब हमने पढ़ाना शुरू करा तो हम लोगों ने जो पढ़ाना शुरू करा, हम लोगों ने एग्जांपल दिया स्मार्ट बोर्ड का. और अब ये वाली जो जनरेशन,
just one submission, ma'am. We have lots of international listeners connected to. If you could like either bilingual or basically focus on one English communication, so that other foreigner speakers are also and listeners are there. Large number of foreign delegates are joined in the session, so they might find Hindi a bit difficult to understand.
okay. Okay, the basic part which I am facing right now in the education system, there is a hybrid. The education system is changing to the hybrid structure. That means their e-learning is there, the digital form is there, digital learning is there, and there will be a traditional teaching also. So we will be working on a three. There is a scenario that we will working on it: e-learning and digital learning and the traditional teaching. And how can we will make it more fruitful, more what is the word? More descriptive. That is a more creative. That is a word. More creative. This scenario we can change it to the more creative way. But the main problem is that as an academician I'm facing right now is this is the first stage of an learning. That means the first stage. Second is the evaluation process. How we will go for the evaluation process when there is a scenario of 1 to many. There is a scenario of examination system when the examiner, how we will able, whether we can able to do in that mode that the examination system will be, or I think it's not possible to work at home, and that examination system is not possible in that scenario. And the last one, which I think you also guys facing because you are in placement committee, that placement. Education system. The one is learning, teaching, learning. The second one is evaluation, and the third one is the placement. How we will gonna place our student in this social distancing mode, in this isolation, because most of the organizations are closed. Most of the organizations, which are the like aviation, are closed. Then hotel industry is closed, and that marriage, there like lot of small structures are now closed. So how we will give this possibility, this thing to our student, that our student will be placed after giving 3 or 4 years in a particular course, how our student will be placed in our industry. So that is the main concern which I'm facing right now as a director of organization, and I think you guys also facing this kind of a problem, because there is no substitute right now. We are not able to find out the substitute, because we are working as an alternative. If the traditional teaching is not there, we can work on that webinar series, we can work on e-learning, we can work on digital learning, but there is no alternative right now. So I really want to sum up on that, if it's not possible right now, how we will survive on this pandemic when it comes to this thing, when it comes to employability. When it comes to employability, I also heard one word which is very nowadays in the news and all that there is a market shift from China to India. If there is a market shift from China to India, how we will work on it, whether we can able to provide these kind of courses or not, whether we are equipped for that, because in that education system is not able to do that kind of a learning which we are facing right now. So this is the only point which I want to discuss here, ma'am. And I think there are a lot of questions I really want to ask to the people, but I'm not able to find out the interactive session here. So these are only the question I want to say, Hello.
Hello. Yeah, am I audible?
Ma'am, hello.
Yeah.
These are because you are working in the placement cell. Are you guys facing this kind of a problem? I just really
A lot
want to
of
ask.
challenges. Yes, ma'am.
Because
Very
lot of
rightly,
challenges are, yes,
very rightly put forward, ma'am.
because I am an IT professor. If the training placement is a part of a placement, if the training is not there, how we will gonna place our student? And the most of the markets are now zero. How we will work on that? Because aviation is gone, then aviation, hospitality, and these are the fruitful markets which are not
tourism
there.
is one which is severely affected. Tourism is also one which is severely affected. Tourism.
Hello.
Tourism is also one which is
Yeah,
severely
tourism
affected.
is also there, ma'am. Tourism is also there. Retail is there. Then
every market except for digital
events
learning
are also
platform
there.
creation. Yeah.
Events, because social distancing concept is not in India. This is not a concept we are not
Used
able
to.
to work on that. we are not used to of this kind of a concept. So my thing is that we can able to develop a system in which we can able to apply this kind of a thing. But right now we are just looking for an alternative, which is like in education, this is like e-learning, which is a part of a webinar and all that.
So yes, Arveli rightly put up 3 points that you have put. First is the hybrid structure of education system, the
Yes,
learning, the
hybrid
blended learning
structure.
mode where the
Yes,
online combination combination is to be used. Second, you said that evaluation is a challenge. That is the one point where we are facing a lot of challenge. Even rightly put up.
Nobody is talking about the examination system. How we will work on this examination system? Because work at that, like, this is possible only. The webinar is possible. The e-learning is possible when it comes to learning. But when it comes to evaluation, how we will evaluate our students?
Even our Honorable Vice Chancellor today in the beginning inaugural session itself mentioned that a survey conducted on the IIT students, they said that even only 19% IIT students are able to grasp what has been taught in the online teaching mode. So the situation is not that easy. Things are difficult. Everybody is trying to survive into it. Everybody is trying to get used to
summer internship, because this time we are
yes.
using that summer internship, and this semester is gone. This year will be a 0 year in our academics, in our life also, because
so
just 3 years are gone.
Just 2 to 3 days back, we got a letter from the government side stating
Yes,
that
I am also facing this thing.
University is free to cut the credit of summer internship. They can also compensate it by giving some more assignments. We have that letter. We have uploaded that letter on the university website itself. And we are also starting some online internship program. Maybe if you wish, after this webinar, we can get in touch. And I can tell you all sorts of measures that we are taking. We are offering some free online learning courses in collaboration with IIT Bombay. That is a spoken tutorial. We are also offering some paid internship from private industry partners like IBM and TCS. So things are going on. We are trying to manage into it. And this definitely we will get back to you and touch with you and like deliberate on this issue and tell you our measures that we are adopting and what you are doing to learn from your side, like what could be done. Thank you so much for joining our session today. And whatever questions will be posted by the student, we will mail you individually if the question pertains to your expertise.
Yeah, thanks a lot, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks a lot for me.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. And thanks a lot, Rajiv sir, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
So we come to like last speaker of today's session, Professor Gina Alcoriza. Professor Gina, are you there? Please unmute yourself. Professor Gina Alcoriza. Professor Gina is there? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. Yes. Now you are visible.
Good afternoon here in the good evening here in the Philippines.
Okay. So, Professor Gina is from college, from University faculty member, University of St. Thomas, Legazpi, if I'm pronouncing Legazpi.
Yes, ma'am, Legazpi.
She is also an ambassador of PARTH, that is Philippines Association of Research for Tourism and Hospitality. Ma'am, since morning we are deliberating on the issue of post-pandemic situation, the impacts on the economy, how technology is going to change it, what we are facing, how we are going to deal with it. Things are being deliberated and lots of experts who are putting up their point. And since you are working in the tourism and hospitality industry, it is the severely affected one at what we are observing it here. And the situation is not going to be good for next another year or year and a half for tourism and this sector unless we are coming to a concrete solution of this type of outburst of the virus. And so the session is all yours. Over to you on the dealing the situation of reviving the economy in the post-COVID situation. So the session is for next 10 to 15 minutes is for you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I would like to share my screen, please.
Okay, technical support. Kindly allow ma'am to share her screen.
Can you see now my
yeah.
presentation? Okay, thank you so much. Before I proceed to my presentation, I would like to thank you, Dr. Omar, for the opportunity to be part of this very engaging and very informative session hosted by your reputable university in India. I really enjoyed, ma'am, the presentation of the previous speakers. I love the topics. Actually, they presented very well the three areas: technology, economy, and of course the pandemic in different perspectives. I really love the session. And of course, I'm very blessed to be here. Nowadays, technology is everywhere and it's part of our life every day. But in my presentation, I would like to focus on tourism, which is my field of specialization. And I would like also to emphasize that tourism is the most affected industry in the world by this pandemic. Okay, so we have here tourism, sports, MICE, or the meeting, incentive, convention, and events. Are sectors also that are affected by pandemic, the entertainment sector, and of course the retail, marketplaces, and restaurants. So we are informed about this, that tourism is considered as the dynamo of country's economy all over the world. The dynamism of tourism is very relevant to economy. It is very much important in every state. The global spread of tourism in industrialized and developed places like Canada, like United States, India, Australia, has produced economic and employment benefits in many related sectors, not only in tourism and hospitality, but for construction, to agriculture, and telecommunication. Tourism has its multi-faceted and it has a lot of impacts to every state. Okay, so let's talk about the impact of pandemic to tourism. The travel and tourism sector with 100 million jobs losses due to pandemic. WTTC, or the World Travel and Tourism Council, projected $2.7 trillion US dollars losses on tourism receipts in 2020. And because of 64 global airlines have completely stopped flying since March. Airlines lose up 113 billion US dollars in passengers revenue, as reported by IATA, or the International Air Transportation Association. And travel restrictions and closures of borders resulted to business shutdown or slowdown. Events across the planet being postponed and ultimately canceled. I have friends in India. We talk about already how really the pandemic, the COVID-19, devastated our tourism industry. Empty hotels and other tourist coaches or buses, even the domestic flying has largely stopped. That impacted well the tourism industry. Closure of airports, museums, and tourist sites, and almost 100% of the destinations across the globe really impacted of the global of this pandemic and the global economy. Okay. So the UNWTO, since even during this pandemic, we are very much domestic in the tourism industry. The tourism later will go on. No one can stop people in traveling for many purposes. The UNWTO, or the United Nations World Tourism Organization, has launched the travel, the stay home now and travel tomorrow as their campaign in order to mitigate this COVID-19 effect to many countries around the world. But now the UNWTO is looking into the greater light at the end of the tunnel. So they are now restarting. The tourism industry is now restarting and resuming the tourism, okay, all over the world. Here in the Philippines, we are starting opening our tourism enterprises effective June 1, and it should be tomorrow. And we are trying to regain the trust of the travelers, particularly the international travelers. This is what the Secretary General of UNWTO told us, that trust is the new currency of our new normal, and tourism is ideally positioned to be the vehicle to channel trusts. Okay. What about our part to this transformation in order for us to travel tomorrow? We are all travelers, right? Okay, so according to UNWTO, we need to cooperate closely with the World Health Organization, ensure with the World Health Organization that health measures are implemented in our areas by standing solidarity with affected countries. So we need to collaborate, we need to help each other. India, Philippines, Malaysia, even the other countries in the Americas and Europe, we need to be united by emphasizing tourism's proven resiliency and by standing ready to support the recovery. So we are all here participants. Okay, so since we are talking about technology, and tourism is now restarting and resuming, I would like to share to you the areas of concern of UNWTO in terms of the guidelines they presented to the industry around the world. Okay, here are the areas: safe and seamless border management for air, sea, and ground travel, or the land travel. The private sector cross-cutting measures, safe air travel, hospitality services, the tour operators and travel agencies, meetings and events, attractions and theme parks, and destination planning and management. So what are the things to be prepared in order for us to resume or restart tourism around the globe? Okay, so we need technology for safe, seamless, and touchless travel. So since we are required to observe physical distancing, so we need this kind of technology for us to travel safely. Okay, technology, we need technology to access information on travel restrictions and protocols. Okay, digital travel facilitation like boarding at the airport and the deplaning process. So we need such technology to maintain clean surfaces, especially in hotels and restaurants and airports, seaports, and other areas where tourists are actually visiting. Health monitoring of employees and guests. Okay, not only the guests are actually monitored for their health condition as long as the employees. Okay, simplify catering and other procedures. Okay, it is actually in the guidelines of the UNWTO to offer packed meals during the events, okay, rather than buffet or any other type of food service. Frequently disinfect aircraft and cabin every flight, okay. The aircraft and the cabins must be frequently disinfect. Reduce capacity of transport facility in order to ensure that physical distancing is observed. Okay, so in our part in the Philippines, the capacity of the bus must be only 30% of the normal capacity before the pandemic. So now we are restarting our tourism industry here, but the only 30% of the capacity must be accommodated in our public transport system. Okay, so contactless check-in and provide guests with hygiene welcome kit is actually required for the hotels. And for events, it is suggested to create digital events, maybe like this webinar. Conventions must be virtual. Okay, so just to present to you the 7 latest technology trends in the travel and tourism. So we have the Internet of Things, recognition technology, virtual reality, augmented reality, robotics, artificial intelligence, and big data. So these 7 are very much important in travel and tourism. So in terms of Internet of Things, this could be the venue for the a facility to interconnectivity in order for the guest to send and receive data. Okay, for hotel rooms, this Internet of Things can provide the guests with device to connect anything about the lights, the aircon, okay, the heater. In the airport, it should be the luggage case can be installed with sensors in order to alert the passenger and the owner. For recognition technology, it's a seamless interaction. Technology includes fingerprint recognition, facial recognition, and retina scanning, and various biometric identifiers. So for hotels, this could be a semi-contactless check-in and check-out, and to be verified through fingerprints. This could be done in hotels, and maybe facial recognition. And in the future, it is suggested to have pay for your meals in the restaurant by simply walking through the exit door. So you have it is just identifying your body. Okay, so for virtual reality, this is all about video games. This is all about the entertainment. So you are very much familiar, especially those people in the IT. Okay, you are very much familiar of this. And images used by business and marketing. Okay, for augmented reality, involves augmenting the person's real surroundings. This can be actually used for customer experience, and it allows photos to be filtered and, of course, with effects. Robotics is one of the technologies that can be used now in the tourism and hospitality. Say, for example, use of robotics in the airports for luggage detection and in hotel, as presented in one of the webinars I attended. Okay, a professor from Australia presented that robotic can be used in housekeeping and hotels. Artificial intelligence is used in hotels, okay, to deliver rapid response in order to provide
Ma'am,
answers to the queries. Hotel can also use this. Yes, ma'am.
Please, while we are running like slightly short of time because meeting has been scheduled like that, if possible,
Okay.
to kindly wind up quickly.
Okay. So it's the collection of data and the statistics to accurately and timely. Okay, so for the researchers in tourism and hospitality, or maybe in business, okay, we must take note of this. We have the guidelines already to restart and resume tourism. And in order for us to implement this guidelines of UNWTO, we need the technology. Okay, so with think about it, in order to connect the economy, we need to think about the production, the purchase of equipment and supplies for hotels, for airports, for the airplanes, the in-flight crew must use PPEs. So we need to think about the production, the purchase, and the cost of the company. Okay, in purchasing the equipment and supplies, we need also to consider new guidelines in each company. And of course, we need to think also about the trainings of employees, because we have our new guidelines. And of course, installment of new facility maybe in some areas, like in the airports and hotels and the restaurants. Okay, and think about the job opportunities in case we have that such technologies. Okay, what about the job technologies, and what about the product innovation, the product development in the tourism and hospitality? So those are the things that can be connected to the economy of our countries, each respective countries. Okay, since the guidelines has been presented by the UNWTO recently. Okay, thank you so much, ma'am, for the time. Thank you so much, Dr. Kumar, for the opportunity to share with you some insights about the technology and tourism and its effect to the economy.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Professor Alcaliza. And we really appreciate and we value your presentation, and we appreciate your saying that trust is the new currency in the industry right now. Very rightly said that we have to build up trust of customers in the market so that everything can be resumed to the new normal and the businesses can be resumed worldwide. Thank you so much for joining us all the way from Philippines. So with this, we come to the end of all the speakers' presentation today. We have heard wonderful presentations today by so many speakers, and I'm amazed to say that most of our foreign speakers and delegates are still on the line. Since beginning, they are there on the line. So before we close and we propose vote of thanks, I would quickly like to take some feedback, just a minute or so from Professor Bob is there. Would you like to say something, Professor Bob, feedback about this event? Please unmute yourself.
Well, I sent you a message. I don't know if you got it. It was rather long.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to thank you. First of all, I was honored that you invited me. This has been an extremely informative session, and we covered a broad number of topics. It's very interesting. And I mentioned to you in the note that I sent you that I just published a paper about issues relating to reopening the world economy, and it's in press. So I have the ability to do another revision, and so I need you and or Rajit to send me the names and titles of everybody, because I've been taking notes about what I need to cite in the paper. It's going to make my discussion section quite a lot more profound. Anyway, this was absolutely fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor. Professor
Good
Shang
afternoon,
is
sir. Thank
also
you.
with us. Professor Shang. Professor Shang, are you there? Please unmute. We want a 1 minute feedback from your side. Okay. Level is visible, but okay. We'll move to Mr. Vikas. Are you there? Would you like to put a minute of feedback? Mr. Vikas? Mr. Vikas, what's? Okay. Any of this, Mr. Kavarinder Singh is there. I'm seeing, sir, since morning he's attending. Could you please unmute yourself and give a feedback about this event? Technical team, could you please unmute Mr. Kavarinder? He's there. Mr. Kavarinder Sidhu. Okay.
Yes, sir. Karvinder sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, ma'am. It's such a wonderful session. The speakers I have learned a lot from all the speakers, and
we would like to know, sir, your affiliation and something about you before you give a feedback.
Ma'am, I'm a research scholar. I'm doing PhD, ma'am, from Uttaranchal University. I'm doing PhD in finance, and this topic was actually not related to my topic. I'm from a financial background, but these days, as we know that we are facing the problem of COVID-19, so we can gain a lot of information from these sources. So it was an interesting and knowledgeful session. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Ms. Pratibha Tripathi, are you there? Dr. Pratibha Tripathi? Dr. Pratibha, can you please unmute yourself? Okay, so
yes, hello.
Okay, so any of you who want to give a feedback, kindly put a message in the chat box. In a couple of minutes, we will wind up this feedback session. Professor Pastro is there. Professor Pastro, would you like to give some feedback? Yeah, please, sir.
Oh, yes. Of course, it's very productive, and I would like to congratulate each and every member of the panelists, and of course to the organizing committee, to all these members of the organizing committee, and of course to all the listeners and the participants of the seminar. I found it very fruitful, and I believe that we could do more things to fight this pandemic through technology and different innovative things that we could we could actually bring up to make this pandemic soon to be out. And at the same time, I would like to congratulate everybody. Thank you. And
Thank you.
of course, I would like to invite if any one of you have, because I am member of editorial board of the Computational Intelligence and Machine Learning Journal. If you would want to submit some papers, well, I would be happy to help you in
Sure,
terms
sir.
of computer science and information technology. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Sure,
much.
sir, sure. We'll get in touch with you, sir. Mr. Neeraj Yadav, I think you want to give a feedback. Mr. Neeraj, are you there? Please unmute yourself. Mr. Neeraj Yadav. Technical team, can you find Mr. Neeraj Yadav? He has put a message in the feedback session chat box. Okay. You can raise your hand if any one of you want to give a feedback, or we will just come to concluding this event. Okay, fine. So we are concluding this event right now. Since morning, we have been listening to all the speakers, and it has actually been a wonderful session. And we have been joined by speakers all the way from Vietnam to Philippines to Canada to USA. Everybody has joined in. And I'm really, really very thankful to all the speakers who have spared their time, their valuable time to share their ideas with our students and faculty member at Dr. Rammanohar, Lohia, Avadh University. I, Dr. Geetika Srivastava, Director of Placement and Software Skill Development Cell at the university. Thank you from bottom of my heart that you accepted our invitation on such a short notice. And I really want to thank entire team of Placement and Software Skill Development Cell who has been instrumental in this organizing this workshop. A special credit goes to Mr. Rajiv Kumar, and on the technical front, Engineer Manisha is there. Like since morning, they have been managing, and Mr. Rajiv has been doing a great and fantastic work of, all the speakers must have received emails and invitation, not only speakers, all the participants, the invitation that you are getting, the Zoom meeting that has been managed. Okay, Professor Bob want to say something probably. Professor Bob want to say something. Yeah.
I just wanted to say two things. I can't believe how well organized he was and got this together in such a short period of time. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is that I was reading something the other day about, it was just a newspaper article, but that all of these organizations have had a plan to upgrade, a 5-year plan to upgrade their systems to online. And they all did it in 2 weeks. And that's incredible. When you think about it, is like, okay, we've got to do it. So we've got to do it. And the only place that's lagging behind right now is the education system, because they don't have good enough technology. So, and the issue that was raised about examinations, this is something that's driving everybody crazy all around the world. So anyway, we had a mess, and we managed to fix the economy. I think we fixed the economy, and you guys are doing such a wonderful job.
Thank you,
this
Professor.
was incredible.
बस मैं एक चीज मैं कहना चाहूंगा कि वर्ल्ड टॉप 2000 साइंटिस्ट में सर बॉब सर आते हैं, वर्ल्ड टॉप 2000 साइंटिस्ट में.
Oh, we are blessed, Professor Bob, that you are there with us. We cannot believe we have been joined in by such a big scientist on this front, on a university like Rammanohar, Avadh University, situated in a very remote area of India like Ayodhya. And
well, you're giving me more credit than is due. I'm just dedicated. And so, no, it's my pleasure. I love this. This is absolutely phenomenal.
Professor Mannan is there, or he has left the meeting? Professor Mannan, he was probably there for a very long time. Professor Mannan.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. Closing, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. We will surely get in touch, and we will again meet up probably on the digital platform itself to share the ideas and hear you more. Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you,
Rajiv.
Thank you very much.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
All of you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
And thank you. Bye-bye.
Dr. Pratibha, we wanted to hear a feedback from your side.
Thank you, ma'am.
We called your name many times.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Lalit. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all for the session.
Thank you. Thank you, Janen sir. Thank you, Anurag sir. Thank you, Janen sir.
Entire team, sir. Janen sir especially.
पूरा मैम पूरे environment में रहा उन्होंने.
Please, आप मुझे बताइए कौन co-host थे सारे. I really love to take them.
Janen sir, Anurag sir, and Pratibha ma'am also.
Pratibha ma'am ko I was calling for feedback. Probably she didn't reply on that. Director sir. Janendra sir, very, very thank you. I've seen that you have been logged into.
Ma'am.